Hello everybody and welcome back to Selva Azteca. This is going to be the last time I say this. This is the last ever time-lapse video of this park. And wow, this is quite sad. I might start crying halfway through. Hopefully I won't. But today we are going to be literally finishing off the park. We're going to be adding finishing touches on everything so it's literally complete. And yeah, it will be still maybe a week or so before the park releases, and I do have some exciting news to announce further on which does involve this park, so stay tuned for that. But just to start with doing some rock work over the area for the B&M invert, which was the first coaster we built. This was about 6 months ago we built this ride, and because our skill has sort of increased, I've become less tolerant on putting less effort in, if that makes sense. So I've decided that, I want to put a bit more detail into the scenery around this area, so I've gone back to change that. And that's just, I want to do this because I think with my skill level being better later on through the park, it'll look a bit weird if this area is still left empty. So I'm just putting some footers in so that it makes sense, so the supports aren't just going straight into loose rock. So we did build this coaster so long ago, and I think it's still one of the best rides in the park. But I just wanted to add those touches to it to make it look, because it doesn't want to look out of place. But lots of trees again in here, and I'm just deleting some old pieces there that we did use, and that had about 2,000 pieces, so I'm glad I remembered to delete them, because that would be a bit of a difference if you were loading up the park with those extra 2,000 pieces. But the main part of this video is the backstage area around this Tierra del Este, which we've decided to name this themed area. That means Land of the East in Spanish, with it being a Spanish theme park. And yeah, we're just putting some shrubbery in here and working on this backstage area, really. That's what we spend a lot of this episode doing. And later on I will give you the news, but that will come as you see something in the time lapse which will give it away. But yeah, some fences around here, just making it look realistic so that only authorised staff can go into the ride area. I'm making the fence a little bit higher because I felt 2 meters was a little bit too short, and then these gates don't really match up with each other, but it looks alright, so I'll take it. But my main aim for this backstage area, if anything, was to make it look a little bit ugly. This is not going to be visible very easily from the paths, so it's, if I'm thinking about realism, it's an area that the park wouldn't have been putting budgets into. They wouldn't have been spending their budgets on this part of the park to look nice, because it's not worth it if park guests won't be able to see it. But just here we're working on an access path, and there is of course like a main staff car park which is near to the visitor car park, and that's the main backstage area, which then does have little bits going off it. And this is an access road going from the Tierra del Este, the area that's around these two coasters, and that does then join right to the front of the park. So so that they can move staff across. If there's a shortage of staff in one area, they need to be assigned to a certain area for whatever reason. It's realistic to make it easily accessible so they can move across the park quite quickly. And then obviously park guests will not be using these paths. But rocks and bushes are what we're going to be doing now. This is my aim of making it look a little bit overgrown. Probably because obviously this is the first area of the park. When they opened it, it will have just been sort of a bit loose dirt and gravel on the ground for this area. But with it being a very tropical climate, it wouldn't have taken long for some plants and shrubbery to start to grow through. So my aim was to make this look a little bit overgrown, a little bit outdated, so that they've not kept it as well as they maybe should have done. But with it being a tropical area, I'm still trying to make it feel a little bit like a jungle, so maybe the beauty of nature doesn't make it look that bad after all. But I think it definitely does make this area look a lot better. It is a big mess of supports, which I do like because it does look a bit ugly. And then I think the way that the shrubbery and rocks come around these supports, it looks quite nice overall. And here is just another access path going off the other access path, and this is because there is a catwalk for the spinning coaster over here, one of those spiral staircases, so that staff can access the catwalk for whatever reason, if they need to do some maintenance on it, or even evacuation off the ride in case, you know, it stops and breaks down for whatever reason. And then again, just some fences so that some staff don't go wandering where they shouldn't be going, because, you know, you might not be able to trust all your staff. I don't know what I'm talking about, but again, I'm putting some trees in that area and it looks really nice. I did feel like it looked quite unfinished last episode, and although it might not have been necessary to put this much detail into a backstage area, I still really wanted to do this so that the whole park looks good. And I did notice, well, it wasn't me that noticed, someone told me that the support structure for this lift hill did look a little bit unsupported for a B&M sit down, and I did sort of agree, but because of the fact that there was all these cobra rolls and of course the spinning coaster underneath, I was finding it quite difficult to put any other supports in. But it turns out that Kraken at SeaWorld does have these sort of diagonal supports that go into the same footers, and normally, well, you can see here there's one on the left side if you're looking from the car park, that does come up diagonally, and then there would be one on the right as well that's sort of mirroring it, but the support on the right got in the way of the cobra roll, so I had to remove that one. But I think it looks better with it, you know, I think it looks better with it being there than not being there, even if it would still have a little bit more supports. And yeah, this is another area which I just felt looked a little bit unfinished, so realistically it wouldn't just be sand, there would be some rocks and some bushes, making it look a little bit more realistically overgrown maybe. But yeah, this is a very common theme for this park. I just wanted to make it look natural, instead of just having wide bits of land which didn't have much shrubbery at all in. So yeah, it would be very easy for plants to grow in this kind of climate, and it makes sense to have lots of tropical trees in. But just now we come to the island, and you can see making foundations for this tower, and this tower is hidden away from the park, and you can see something on top of this tower, and they are fireworks. In Theme Park LB's video in the last episode, we did decide not to do fireworks because, you know, it's going to be quite a hassle, and we thought that we had a very tight schedule. But a third person has come in and said that they could do this for us, and if you don't know this person, definitely go and check them out. They've got a brilliant channel, My Curious Mind, and he will be building the fireworks for us over the next couple of days, and I will leave a link to his channel in the description so you can check that out and be subscribed, because the fireworks will be on his channel. So yeah, I'm just going to explain what's going to be happening for the videos for the rest of this channel. Although this is the last time lapse, there will be still probably 4 more videos. So on Theme Park LB's channel, we'll be doing sort of a overview where we talk to you about what we've done. Not cinematic or anything, just really casual, just showing you what we've done, talking together in the same call. And there will be a cinematic version of the park, which will be quite a short video on my channel, and then of course the fireworks on the channel of My Curious Mind, and a cinematic for Cayman, which is the final big coaster that we haven't done a cinematic for, so that will be on Theme Park LB's channel as well. But yeah, I hope you're all excited for these future videos, which will be coming very shortly, so stay tuned for that. And then on your screens now, there is a different backstage area. This was probably the first one we built, which just does sort of come off from the entrance, but we're not actually there anymore. We are at the main backstage area again, putting some shrubbery in. I did look at some random TMTK items to make it look, you know, some various accessories that are just lying around that might be useful for the park. But I think there's lots of bins, that kind of thing, but the main idea for me was that it's best to just put shrubbery in if you don't know what to do, because with it being a very tropical area, that's just what would happen. But you can see I'm trying to get a couple of random TMTK items around, and yeah, decorating the roofs, stuff like that. So I've probably said this a lot, but I'm honestly so grateful for all the support on this series. I feel like it's really amazing to see how much the channel's grown with this series. We started back at the start of this year, the very start of 2020, before we even knew that everything would just go to crap. And I had, what, like 60 subscribers around that time, I think, and now we've hit 150, and that's obviously pretty insane how much we've grown, and I'm very happy with that. So thank you so much for your consistent support, and yeah, I'm speechless with how well this series has gone. And yeah, like I said, I might cry because it's just such a good series. Well, that sounds arrogant, doesn't it? I'm just happy with how it's gone. I don't think it could have gone a lot better, but the point is we wouldn't have been able to do it without you guys, so thank you so much. And yeah, back to the time lapse now. After that speech, we are doing some lighting. Obviously it's quite important with it being a jungle park that would be warm, so it's open late, and it will have nighttime rides and stuff like that, so just lighting's quite important. Yeah, and that's about it. That's the main idea. But you can see me flying around quite a lot. I was just looking for things that I could make a little bit better. I didn't really go into this video with much of a plan. I just sort of went with the flow. I knew that there was a lot of stuff to be done, but I didn't find it until I was making the video. But yeah, that's it. That's the end of Selva Azteca time-lapse videos. For the last time, guys, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.